Welcome back, guys. I had decided that I wasn't going to bother carrying on playing this beta until a few of the things were fixed, because basically submarines don't work. Both varieties, the mine laying and the ordinary submarines. And mines are just a bit silly. They do loads of friendly fire damage, and the only time they damage enemies is if they come close to you, which obviously you can't affect. So you end up doing more damage to yourself through friendly fire than you do to the enemy. Not only that, but the mine radius is actually far bigger than it shows on the screen. So if the mine radius is that big, you can get hit even if you're outside, even if your zone of control is outside of the mine radius. So there's a lot of things that's wrong with the game, and the main problem that I've found is the enemy ships are not set to repair if they've only got a few % damage, because they're only on high repairs and not very high on each of the ports. So if enemy ships get slightly damaged, they just remain in port forever. They never leave, because you can't leave if you've got a bit of damage, and they never repair. So there's lots of problems with the game, so I was just going to leave it until they fix some of these problems, but I decided I was going to give it another go, see if we can just get a few battles in. And I've managed to get a half decent battle on the go, so we're going to jump in, see how we get on. I've got all these submarines all spotted around everywhere to try and get them to work, but sadly they don't do anything. And I can't be bothered to retreat them all and scrap them, so they're just going to clog up the screen at the moment, but that's just as it is. Hopefully, if they fix that, then it'll fix it in the game. So if there's a new patch, then it might fix it for this game. So fingers crossed, you never know. Alright, let's have a look at the fuel. We start off at 86. 67 on the destroyers. Right then. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's a bug with the fuel as well. Although when you're at low fuel it tells you on here you're only doing this speed, you still actually do full speed unless you touch this. So I think fuel doesn't actually work either at the moment. As long as you don't touch this, you can still remain going at max speed, so that's a bit weird. But we'll take it. The enemy go full speed as well, as far as I can tell, so we may as well abuse the system to make sure the enemy aren't getting an unfair advantage. Right then, is that all the ships? I believe so. So I think I'm going to set my torpedoes off for now until I know what's going on. Let's go scouting. They are to the south. Okay, we've spotted the, I think the biggest ship that they've got is a battle cruiser. See if we can get in and fire some torpedoes off. So with the turret traversal, actually working to a fair degree now. Makes torpedo runs a hell of a lot easier. As you can see, they're actually turning and firing, which makes a change. Well, some of them are turning. One of them took a while to turn, but he got there eventually. Okay, so we've executed our torpedo run. So we can settle these destroyers to screen battleship now. We managed to take down the battle cruiser and do a little bit of damage to the armoured cruiser, so that'll do. So we don't particularly want this light cruiser to be engaged in the combat, but we're just using him to spot at the moment, so come out just full rudder turn him just there. Still not quite close enough to spot. So it looks like full rudder turn doesn't really work anymore. We must need better steering equipment now. But we can just set him to screen the battleship. That'll do. Don't know where all of their smaller ships are, because that's who I really want to be fighting with these light cruisers. So the devs have made the enemy accuracy better in a rather strange way. It also makes the players' accuracy better, but at least it evens the playing field. So basically now you get a huge range found bonus compared to what you used to. So the enemy will get the same range found bonus. Well, they will do if they're there we go. So the enemy have got a plus 1000% range found. So that's how the devs have managed to get the enemy gunnery more similar to the player's gunnery, which makes firefights a lot more enjoyable with the enemy actually being able to shoot back now. Before, they barely landed any shots because the ship design is so bad. But even with bad ship design, the range found bonus can make up for that. Oh, we've spotted a light cruiser. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, although it says there we're doing 16 knots, we're actually doing full speed. So even if we do a full turn to reduce our speed, when we level off, we go back up to normal speed. So as long as you don't touch a speed slider, the fuel doesn't actually affect you. Rather amusing. So I'm a bit concerned about where these torpedoes are going. This is the one problem about putting your ships onto screen. You can end up getting collateral fire. But we'll take the risk. So not the craziest battle in the world, but at least we did get some shooting off. It looks like all of the screening ships and a couple of the armoured cruisers have decided they just don't want to fight. And there's no point in me spending hours chasing after them. So we got almost 1,500 victory points, so I'll take that. So if you have a look here, we've got all of this mine damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you what country it is that's doing the mine damage. But we've had our mine-laying submarines around Austria-Hungary for ages without any mine damage. And then as soon as they entered the war with Italy, they started taking all that mine damage. So as far as I'm aware, all of that mine damage is coming from these mine patches that they've got around the ports, not from us, unfortunately. So yeah, don't be fooled into thinking that this is your ships doing this if you're using submarines. It's not. That's annoying. Right, I can't be bothered with that battle. Right, what I wanted to do, unfortunately, the ships clump up a lot more than they used to. So you can't put a ship close to another ship like you used to be able to. You've got to actually put them a fair distance away, because what I wanted to do is check to see if the control radius increases the more ships there are in a division, because that's how it used to work. But I don't think that's how it works anymore. Well, we've got another battle here. Interesting to see what the ammo is. You can't see on this screen. And unfortunately, because we've got all these submarines dotted around, it's hard to actually tell if we've got a task fleet out or not, or if this is ships from the port. So, yeah, let's have a look, see if any of the ammo is reduced. No, they've all got full, and they've all got full fuel, so these must just be docked in the port. Right, there to the east. So we're doing it like this. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a previous video, but just so our larger ships are further away from the enemy torpedoes. So I've just let them fire the torpedoes at the destroyers because we haven't really got many threats to deal with. Large threats, I should say. So I'm not too concerned about saving my torpedoes. Unfortunately, we took a huge flash fire there. So looks like we are actually going to lose a ship this time. But there's not much you can do about that. I mean, there is something you can do about it. Don't take 5.9-inch guns, because 4-inch guns can't flash fire. So I should have just stuck with my 4-inch guns. But there's a chance that the ship will still flash fire, just not the guns. Well, it's rather amusing that a light cruiser can block 11.9-inch shells. That seems a little bit wrong to me. So only 2 of them actually went through. One was only a partial pen. What's his armor rating? I mean, he has got like 11-inch main belt. But still, my armor pen at that range was like 40 inches. So how can he block 4 out of 6 shells or whatever it was, and one of them only partial pen? So they've definitely done some strange things with the damage received. So yeah, unfortunately we took a flash fire, but not much we can do about that. Coastal arm. Near our cost. Oops. Should we play it? Yeah, let's just play it. Why not? My armoured cruiser isn't particularly designed for facing smaller ships, but let's just play it. We should have full fuel. Yep, good. Times 30. Why would you start that far away? Oh dear. So our armoured cruisers are basically pocket battleships. They've got practically the same guns as the battleships have. Obviously only 11 and not 12-inch, but still. They've got pretty decent belt armour, but terrible deck armour. But to be honest with you, it's looking like they're not even willing to fight. Yeah, it's gone up to times 30. Rather frustrating. So they've got all that damage from the port mines. If only it was my damage. Oh, so these still combined. That's so frustrating. So yeah, 100 control radius. So basically, they don't add the control radiuses to each other anymore. It just goes off what the biggest ship's control radius is. And there's not much difference between light cruiser, armoured cruiser, and battleships, it looks like. So I'm wondering what it is that actually affects this control radius, because all them ships are obviously very, very different. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not the range stat. I don't think it's the range stat anyway. Yeah, because this has got 2/3 of the range, but it hasn't got 2/3 of the control. Yeah, and that's got half. And obviously that's the same. Yeah, so I have no idea what affects the control radius anymore. Combining ships doesn't and range doesn't, so maybe it's just... Well, I was going to say hull, but the hull doesn't make any difference because battleship, battlecruiser, armoured cruiser and light cruiser are all going to have completely different hulls, so I have no idea whatsoever what affects the control radius now. Oh well, nothing we can do about it. I don't even think it makes that much difference anyway, because it's not like if control radiuses go over each other, they enter into a battle. Right, I'm getting huge mines being laid around here, and I'm not sure if it's from docked submarines. I'm not sure. Because I don't want them there. Because they're more likely to do harm to me than they are to the enemy. But I think it was when these mine layers were docked. Right, so we've still got that relatively large fleet there. And we've got ours just up here. We can split that in half now. Okay. I don't want to advance any further in because I'll trigger all these minefields. That is as close as you can get to a minefield without triggering it. I don't really know what to do apart from just keep blockading them. The one thing that I wanted to do was to try and identify how to blockade each nation. So I think that's what I'm going to focus on this campaign, because the submarines and the mines aren't working correctly. The fuel isn't working correctly, and the ammo doesn't make any difference unless you play a straggle mission. None of the new features actually mean anything in this beta patch at the moment. So, the one thing that we can do is to see how to blockade each nation. So, obviously, Austria-Hungary, nice and simple, Eastern Med. But the ones that I want to figure out is like Russia. Do I need to blockade Baltic, Black and Northeast Asia Sea? Because I'd assume so. I'm pretty sure China is only Northeast Asia Sea. Even though you would assume it'd be the Southeast Asia Sea as well, it's not as far as I'm aware. Japan's probably just going to be Northeast Asia Sea, but it could potentially be Oceania as well. I'm pretty certain you don't have to blockade all of the colonies of a country, just the mainland. So, the ones that I want to check out are Russia and America, because the other two, Japan and China, are pretty obvious. It's just Northeast Asia. Spain is what I'm playing as, so this is the other one that I wanted to check out, but I presume it would just be North Atlantic and Western Med. I want to see if the others have been changed as well, like Britain and France. So with Britain, it used to be these three seas: English Channel, North Sea and Irish Sea. So I want to see if that's still the same. And with France, I want to know if it includes the North Sea, because I think it does, even though it shouldn't really. English Channel, North Atlantic and Western Med. So yeah, what we really want to do is get in a war with Russia and see if we can blockade them. So one thing that I could do when setting a task fleet, you can set its repair priority. Because after every battle, the entire task fleet just returns to port. And obviously that's why the ammo's not making any difference. So what we could do is try... because he's only on medium, he shouldn't return to port. The damaged ships can return to port, that's fair enough, but all the rest of them it seems odd. So let's set them to low and see if they actually return to port after they fight a battle. Because that's one reason it's difficult to blockade a country. They only need to send out a single destroyer to engage you. And unless you use auto-resolve, your fleet returns back to port. So it's a pain in the arse to blockade countries unless you actually use the auto-resolve button. So this might be a way to bypass it by putting repair priority down to low. So we can test that out. Oh, interesting. Once the mines have filled the radius, the maximum radius, if you move the mine layer away, which is what I did, the radius doesn't shrink, it just stays there permanently. So technically you can just use a single mine layer and just, once it's filled, hop to the next port and then hop to the next port. So you don't actually need a load of mine layers, you just need one hopping between the ports. Right then, let's just carry on, see if we can engage this semi-doom stack. Unfortunately, when ships get damaged and return to port, they stay on sea control, and so you get these battles. So if you want to prevent random battles from ports, you have to actually change them to defend after every time they fight a battle, which is a pain. But we can see if they actually want to engage us. Battleship, heavy cruiser and destroyer, it's highly unlikely that they're going to engage. They're just going to flee, I assume. So they are to the east. Well, it looks like they actually are engaging. Unfortunately, we missed with all of our torpedoes, but it's not surprising. Look at all them blocks, times 6 blocks from like 12-inch guns, 12 and 11-inch guns. So silly. That's the other problem with setting your ships to screen. Friendly fire that they take. Not friendly fire, collateral fire. Interesting. You don't get the end battle music that you used to get. Should we just play these missions? Gives us something to do. Rather annoying how transports are above light cruisers in this list down here. Right, he's 27, he's 25, he's 26, so the battle cruiser's the fastest, so I'll start with him. The light cruiser's the slowest, which is rather amusing. Well, convoy raid times 30. It looks like they're not actually trying to raid us. They're just getting us to chase them. That's rather frustrating. So, may as well just end battle. They clearly don't want to fight. I wonder how much fuel that used. Half a tank. Rather amusing. Let's see if we can kill a few of their transports. I highly doubt they've changed it, so transports killed in battle actually affect your economy. But you never know. Well, we've come across the transports first, which to me says that their escort ships have just done a runner. Because I assume that they still start in between you and their transports like they used to. So we could see if we can find them, but I'm pretty sure they've just took tail and run. Yeah, they'd be here by now. And we're still at ×10, it hasn't dropped to ×5. So yeah, I'm not wasting my time. We've actually got the end battle music this time. Strange that we didn't last time. Right then. Let's move these ships out. Wonder where their doomstack went to. I don't think that was it. I'm not sure. They've got all these ships in port. Now this is what I was talking about before. I'm pretty sure that all these ships have just got a tiny bit of damage and so they can't leave port and they never get repaired. So you just end up with huge amounts of ships just staying in port. Especially with the mines. The mines do a tiny bit of damage to them and suddenly they're useless for the rest of the campaign. So that desperately needs fixing. So let's put these on low. See if we can get them to hang around longer than one battle. What I want to do, if there's any ships still in port, so just the ones repairing and these, is see if we can set the ones that are repairing to defend. I don't know if we can do that or not, but there's only one way to find out. Okay, so he's repairing. If we tell him to defend with the other one selected, it did get the one to defend that's repairing to defend, so that's good. So once they finish repairing, they will start off on defend. Interesting, what's this symbol here? I've no idea. So we're not last anymore. Oh, it doesn't look like it orders it in fleet strength anymore like it used to. This used to order in largest fleet to smallest fleet, but God knows what it orders it in now. Right, so it looks like we're going to start a war with the Italians and then we're probably going to get absolutely wrecked by the Italian minefields. So that's going to be a problem. Really, I want to finish this war with... that's a lot of funds that you have to spend. I'm going to do it though. Because really I want to finish this war with Austro-Hungary. Right, because this is taking a while, I think I might just call it an end to this episode. Although it is speeding up a bit now. But I'll pick up when we actually get a battle worth showing. So it might be a few months that I'll do some off-camera stuff. Okay, so cheers for watching guys, take care, I'll see you soon.